Throughout the hard times, we're still making changes. Find the ways to help each other, many similar faces. There's a way, meditation and pray. God could pave the way, many better days in a peaceful place where we lay. A different state of mind in these crazy days. A way to unwind one day at a time in a sober way.
My name is Apple. Born and raised in Lincoln Heights. Been there since I was 2. And just here's a little bit of my story. I was born in a two-parent household with 4 of my sisters at the beginning. 2 of them came later on from El Salvador, which was interesting because it was a big age gap, 15 years age gap. So they were everything was new. But other than that, I had a very hardworking mom. All I remember of her was just working. She used to work a lot of graveyard shifts, and my dad used to work in the mornings at Pioneer Chicken in Echo Park. So we used to eat fried chicken all the time because we were always so broke, and my dad would get it for free. So we lived in Lincoln Heights until I grew up, until I got married, and basically for Christmas, it was everybody just gets one gift and you guys are gonna share it type of stuff, because we didn't have a lot of money, My mom, she used to make a lot of tamales, to sell just around the neighborhood, to sell to major restaurants as well, and just her little side hustles here and there. My dad, he would be working at Pioneer Chicken, meanwhile doing little side hustles here for like another, doing cleaning or other stuff. And then right after that, my sisters, they little by little started getting married till it was just me and my 2 younger sisters left. That's when a lot of I started experiencing a lot of more fights in my house. My dad was a very, very, very violent drunk. When he would get drunk, he was very violent towards everybody. My dad would drink since I was born. But he would drink with food and he would eat. My mom would serve him his food and he would eat. And drink his beer. But then it started becoming to where he would just ignore the food now, and he would just drink his beer. And every morning, it went slowly from eating a little bit to not eating anything at all. And the first thing at 5 in the morning, he just cracked his beer open. So he started drinking at 5 in the morning until he would pass out. So when I was about maybe 9 years old, he was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver. And that's what made me want to, research more on the medical field, because nobody would pay attention to him anymore because he kept drinking after they told him he had cirrhosis of the liver. But I cared about his medication. So I tried to take him into the doctor, learn about his medication. He was even on a transplant list, ready for a liver, but he couldn't stop drinking. He violently became very sick when he would try to stop drinking. So he would tell me, I can't stop. So he didn't stop. The 3 months came and went. He got sicker. He got a lot more yellow. He got a lot of jaundice going on. At that time, him and my mother were fighting a lot over his drinking. He got to the point where he was pouring beer on my mom at this point, because he would just be so upset. And I remember I was so tight with my dad. My dad would be like, go hide the phone, so your mom doesn't call the cops. So here I went, like little 9-year-old me just looking for the phone, trying to hide it, So then the fight started becoming more violent until I was around 12 years old. They had a huge argument, and it was just my parents and myself at the time in the house. My sisters were out playing, and I got called into the living room just randomly. Nancy, get over here, So I come to the living room running, thinking something happened to my mom. And then my dad lays it on me, like, we're fighting because, and my mom told him, shut up, don't say anything. And I told my dad, what are you fighting about? And my dad turns around and he told me, I'm gay, and I'm not going to hide it from you anymore, just like I'm not going to hide it from anybody else. Oh. So my mom at the time decided to stay married to my dad. She was married to him for 28 years. After that, though, after he did say that he was gay, my mom kind of did detach herself emotionally from him, where she became a lot more busier with just her food. Just a lot of, she surrounded herself with a lot of friends. I'm assuming she felt very lonely. Now that I'm a woman myself, I can only imagine how lonely she must have felt. So, she became, really out there. She started going out there. So that's when she met this family friend where he used to come around all the time during family functions, all the time he was around. And all of a sudden, my mom started saying that this man liked her. So my mom had told him, "No, I don't like you. Like we're just good friends. I don't have any interest." Turns around that Turns out that this man had told my mom, "Well, I'm leaving to Mexico on Monday morning, and if you don't leave with me, I'm gonna kill you." So my mom took it as, "You're crazy. You're not gonna do anything." Sunday night, my mom was stabbed 3 times in Lincoln Heights. My mom was stabbed 3 times in the chest by that man. And my mom ended up passing away that day. It was July 22nd, 2007. And yeah, my mom, that's the day that my mom passed away. I had to take care of everything. My little sisters, they were only 15 and 16. My older sisters, they were doing their lives already. My dad was a full-fledged alcoholic at this point, so he was just there just because I couldn't sign papers because he was still alive. And, so basically he just went with me just so he could just scribble his signature and I could pay for everything else. So I buried my mother in 2007, and my dad just let himself go completely. He started drinking rubbing alcohol. He would start drinking rubbing alcohol with soda. And little by little, his liver just ended up failing on him. He started throwing it up. And I took him into the hospital September 7th. And right when I took him, maybe 20 minutes, and he was admitted, the doctor told me straight up, "There's nothing I could do for him. His next step is only hospice because he's not going to survive this." So my dad lasted in hospice. I want to say about more like three more weeks. He died October 7th, 2009, of his cirrhosis of the liver. And that's when it hit me harder. When I tried to pay for his funeral, I found out that he had borrowed against his life insurance policy. So at the time I was going through my first divorce, I was married super young at age 18. I was married with my first daughter, and I was fighting custody for my kid. And in the middle of everything, I still had to plan a funeral. And I believe that all that chaos going through, just, trying to keep it together for my sisters, I just suppressed everything, and I just kept suppressing everything, and until my body just gave out. And I developed really bad ulcers in my intestine, to where I was in the hospital for 3 months in a row. No food, no water. I went into the hospital weighing 130 pounds. I came out weighing 82 pounds. I couldn't walk anymore. I lost the ability to use my legs. I had to get therapy again to be able to even walk. My heart was failing because of the potassium levels were really low. And I was by myself. And that's when it hit me, that there's going to be a point in my life where you're going to be completely alone, and you're going to have to know how to pull yourself out of it. So during those 3 months that I was in the hospital, I kept thinking, how do I better myself? Now I'm all alone. Like, I literally don't have a mom to come see me, and I don't have a dad to come see me. My little sisters were just kids, and my older sisters, they were caught up in their lives. So I was really by myself, and I think that I did a lot of soul searching within those 3 months that I was admitted. And I did change a lot of my mentality, a lot of how I was raised I became so like, okay, maybe things are not the way that I see things, because due to the fact that my father was gay and he turned out to tell me this when I was 12. I think at that age I was still, growing up. My mind was maturing still. And I think that that affected me a lot because I couldn't trust anymore. I didn't know how anymore, because the person that I had idolized my entire life was all a lie. So I would always be like, how is it possible that any man is not gonna lie to me? My mom, my dad did it perfectly fine. So I had a lot of trust issues, and up to now, it still continues. It still continues, and it's something that I fight daily. Try to just, talking to myself. It's honestly been my best friend, because I talk to myself the way I would talk to a friend, trying to give myself all that love that I couldn't give myself when I was so hurt. And just teaching my children, because now I had kids and it wasn't by myself. I wasn't by myself, and I had to be strong for my kids, and mom always had to be strong. My mom always taught me, you don't let them see you sweat. You don't let them see you sweat. So that stood with me. That stood in my head, and now I have four children, and I'm always on the go, 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 because I cannot see my children. I cannot allow to see my kids see me sweat. So it got a little difficult after both my parents passed, because then everybody went their separate ways. My sisters went one way, I went the other way. My 20s were a blur. My 20s, I don't remember most of my 20s, because I got into drinking myself right after that happened. I was thinking like, I'm gonna die anyway. My stomach's already. So I fell into so much depression, so much everything. I started smoking cigarettes heavily. I started drinking heavily. To my 20s, I made a lot of stupid decisions, that I wish that now that I'm almost 40, I'm thinking like, oh my God, that was so stupid. Like, that was so stupid. A lot of relationships, beautiful relationships that I could have nurtured, I didn't, because I didn't know how. I didn't know how to navigate that, because all I knew was, okay, this is how we were raised. This is how we were raised at home, and this is what we see in my neighborhood. This is how things go in the neighborhood. If the man's not there, the woman picks up the slack. So this is what we're doing. So Apple gotta do it every time, because if you don't do it, nobody's gonna do it for you, basically. So I just started wrapping myself around just what I loved. I opened up a weed shop. I had my weed shop for 6 years. I was entirely happy. I was so happy because I was doing what I loved. I started smoking weed because of my stomach condition, and it was a game changer. I was taking 16 pills a day. And when I tried THC on an edible, it stopped all the bleeding. So I didn't take any of the pills. It had made all my hair fell off, and my skin was really ugly, like really, really ugly. And it was just like, you see yourself and you're just like, who is this person? Like, you feel so unattractive, so like, oh my God, and I hated myself for a while. I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated the way I felt. I hated the fact that I couldn't call nobody. I couldn't call mom anymore. I couldn't call dad anymore. Like, I couldn't do a lot of things, and I had to learn how to do it myself. And because I had to do it myself, I think that it made me into this person that sometimes is very tough, and it's something that I have to be tough, and I have a lot of I have a lot of confusion between being tough and being able to be led, because in order for a man to lead me, I gotta trust that lead. That lead has to be a strong one, because if I don't see that that lead is strong, I'm gonna immediately go back to my father and be like, oh, it's just like my dad. Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'll run and I'll mess something, like I said, something beautiful up, because I just don't know how to. I didn't know how to maneuver. Now it's something different. I kind of, try to see what works for me. I started writing a lot. I write a lot. I write my thoughts a lot. I blog a lot now. I like to go and just take my pictures now. If they ask me if they want photographs at a certain hotel, I'll go to that hotel. And now it's fun because all expenses are paid. It's fun to do these shoots and just be involved with the whole community and the whole urban world, and that's what I'm interested in. And now I'm just trying to come up with my sweatshirts and just my own brand, and trying to try to incorporate my personality along with my brand. So I'm excited about that because that's gonna be my baby. So I'm really excited about that. It's something new to me. So I'm still taking baby steps to it, but for the most part, I'm still like asking for a lot of help because I still need some help. But I try to do everything myself, and I found that that's not always the best way. Sometimes you really do need help, and it's hard when you're not used to asking for help. It's really hard because you just feel weird that, or you feel that they're gonna judge you, like, aren't you so but weren't you so strong? Like, what happened? I thought you were strong. And it's like, yeah, we are, but you know what, like, we get tired sometimes and we do all the taking care of, and it's like, at the end, who takes care of us? It's like you're pouring water into a container, and when you don't have anything else left in that container, it's like, what, there's nothing left. Like, that's you're empty now. You're empty. So you gotta look for ways to recharge that and be so much more to your family because of that. So I learned how to love myself again, how to love the new image that now I have to, I'm a lot smaller now. And a lot of people still see me that they knew me healthy, and they'll be like, oh my God, what's wrong? Are you okay? Like, and I'm like, yes, I'm fine, because what are they gonna do when I tell them, no, I'm not? Like, I have an autoimmune disorder. What are you gonna? No, there's nothing that you can do. When I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 2008, it was messy. I was scared. I almost died. I got 3 blood transfusions. And all I kept thinking was, I can't leave. I have my kids, and as I kept bleeding and nothing was staying, and I just kept hearing, we're losing her, we're losing her. And all I kept thinking was, my kids, my kids, my kids. And, just something kept trying to tell me, just fight, just fight, just fight. So I did. And now, like I said, it does take a lot. It takes a lot of, doing things, because even if I look healthy on the outside, on the inside, there's days where my body is in a lot of pain, and like, literally, like, my fingers hurt to move, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, I feel so useless today. But it's like, okay, Mom can't stop, because I still have to cook, I still have to wash, I still have to make money, I still have to look at all these things. And I remember my mom always being so strong and being such a go-getter, and just remembering what she was doing minutes before she lost her life. My mom was delivering some tamales, and my mom still, like, my mom got stabbed and she still walked a couple of, like, maybe like a block, till she finally collapsed. So my mom still tried to fight to get home. So since that happened, I just remember, like, my mom fought. My mom still tried to make it home. So because of that, it's always been like, okay, now we fight. Now we fight. We fight for everything. We fight. I have to fight every morning just to stay healthy, just so I can feel healthy, try to eat healthy, just so I can so I could be around. 10 years ago, I didn't even think I was going to make it to 30. That's how sick I felt, that I said, God, I'm not going to make it to 30. I had no plans after 30. So literally after 30, I started winging it because I didn't have no plan. I was thinking, that's it. This is it. At 30, I'm probably not going to have any time left. I was so sick, But then I started becoming involved in helping the homeless a lot. With the clinic that I was working, we did a lot of outreach with homeless people, and I got to talk to a lot of people from a lot of walks of life. And it's like, I am so ungrateful for the things that we really do have. And people are out here wishing they would have half of what we have. And I am so ungrateful. And I believe that because I'm seeing all of this in my own community. It's what makes me wanna do more for that community, for my community, for us Hispanic people. We struggle a lot, whether it's to build a business up, whether it's to buy a home. We fight a lot. We have to get it. We have to get it. We always have to. We're fighters by nature. We're fighters. And once you're brought up in a certain environment, such as Lincoln Heights or East LA, you grow up seeing everything that's around you, and you start just pulling from what's good, and what you think it's gonna benefit you, and that's when you start making good decisions and bad decisions. And unfortunately, not all the decisions that I made were good decisions, but at the time I thought that those were my only options. So, a lot of paths took me into violent relationships. For my 25th birthday, I experienced the biggest beatdown of my life by one of my ex-boyfriends. At age 25, he left me on the side of the road, beaten. I was black and blue for months. That's how bad he beat me. And I had a lot, and because of that, I believe, like, I don't let nobody come too close to me. Like, if you can't come close to me, you can't hurt me, basically, And it's kind of, it's sad because it's like, I love people, but then I'm scared to have them around because it's like, if you allow them this much, then you're giving them that much more power to hurt you, So you play and choose to what you want to follow and what you don't want to follow. But as far as I'm concerned, my biggest issue was always, not everybody in the neighborhood is bad. Not everybody in my neighborhood is bad. People made it seem like being from Lincoln Heights or East LA was bad. It was bad out the gate. And no, it wasn't. It was beautiful. Like, our community has always been beautiful, and it built this big old, stereotype around that. And it was so negative how we were just a bunch of gang members, how we were just a bunch of, good for nothings, that we didn't want to do anything, and it's like, damn, a lot of people really started believing that. And you could see the people that believe that. And whoever didn't believe it, you can also see, because now whoever didn't believe that, we're doing something different. We're literally trying to change a life that maybe you would have loved for somebody to have told you what you can tell that person now. Like, what would you tell your 19-year-old self now at 40? Like, what would you tell your 30-year-old, now at 40? And it's like, you see yourself in a way where, like, wow, I never thought I was capable of even thinking that way. Like, my mentality never expanded that much to where now I'm more compassionate towards people. I don't know what people are dealing with. People deal with different things every day in different ways. And sometimes we judge a lot of people. and we don't even know half of what they're going through. They might have just lost somebody yesterday, and they have a horrible attitude with us today, and the first thing we do is probably cuss them out. But we don't know that they just buried their mom yesterday, or, their dad or their sibling, somebody, and it's just so, it just fills you with so much more compassion towards everybody, that you going through something so personal, and it allows you to see like what alcoholism does to you, what not paying attention does to you, what not saying something, what it does to you, if you're too trusting with somebody, not like now I feel like I'm too trusting with somebody, I run the same risk my mom did. Like my mom would have never expected for a family friend to stab her in her chest 3 times. Nothing was taken from her. My mom had $400 in cash in her purse. Nothing was taken from her.
Tell us exactly, what is it that you know? I know that you recently posted something, and you had no idea, right? That was even a post that was made about your mom.
Yes. I actually I came across this post in LA Times. And it kind of, I had never read it before till that day. And the reason that I read it was because I'm trying to reopen her investigation, because I feel that there was a lot of negligence from the Hollenbeck Police Department. So I was trying to reopen that investigation.
What happened with that? Did they just close the case?
The thing was that they closed the case because they told me that the person died in Mexico, but they never provided me with a death certificate. They never brought him back to the States, even claiming where he was at. They never closed it was Sunday, so Sunday usually is trash days in LA. For everybody that lives in LA knows that usually Lincoln Heights, the trash gets picked up Mondays. So my mom got murdered on a Sunday. They never blocked off the scene. They never did any of that. So trash was collected as usual. Everything was done. So I just Googled my mom's name, and that's the first thing that popped up. And it hit me so hard because I was reading this, and all it said about my mom was that she was a tamal vendor. And it was like, my mom was so much more than that. My mom wasn't just a tamal vendor. My mom, she did so much. It wasn't just that. That's what she did. That's what she was doing. Unfortunately, when she was coming back home, delivering an order, but my mom, for her funeral, my mom had over 300 people in her funeral. And, my mom was so much more than that. My mom was so much more than that. And the fact that I read like, a local tamale vendor, and that was it. And nothing that said anything about her life, what she actually was. And it was like, they just painted her out to be like she was just a vendor, just a vendor. Like my mom was a grandmother. My mom was a wife. My mom, she was a niece, a cousin, a sister. She was so much, I still needed her. I was only in my 20s and I needed her. I needed her so bad. When my dad died, good God, I really didn't have anybody. I was like, what do I do? And now I have to bury my dad completely by myself. How do I do this? Like, I don't even have nobody's guidance now, So I did it, and once again, I shoved everything to the pit of my stomach. I just shoved everything and kept it moving. It landed me again in the hospital.
What happened with your sisters? Did they not reach out to help?
My sisters, they like I told you, they were very young, and those younger ones, I don't blame them because they were very young. They were very young and they were struggling with their own demons at the time. My older ones, they could have helped. They chose not to. And I don't know what the reasons for that was, but they chose not to, and it was a really hurtful time for, I think, the entire family, that they were really just leaving it up to me, and I was already dealing with custody battle for my kids, and I was only 20 something years old, like.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 18 when I got married the first time.
And your babies were, how old were you when you had them?
I was 18 in June. My daughter was born in July, and then my son was born in September, and I turned 20 in June. So I was 18 and 20 when the older ones were born. Now my daughter's 22, my son's about to be 20. And then I have two little ones, 10 and 12. And now the mom that I am to my 10 and 12s, it's a much more different mom, because now I know things differently.
Have you made peace with your older kids?
I have. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because just a couple of days ago, I spoke to my daughter, and I cried. I cried like I had never cried with her on the phone before. And I said, I am so sorry that the unhealed parts of me hurt you. I am so sorry I didn't know how to be a better mom. I am so sorry because I couldn't give you everything that I wanted, not even knowledge, because it wasn't even given to me. I was literally winging it. Like, my mom passed away when my daughter was only 5. So after that, I was literally winging it. Like, I had an alcoholic dad, so what was he going to tell me? So I called my daughter, and then I called my son, and I said, you know what? Thank you guys. Thank you for not judging me. Thank you guys for loving me. Thank you guys for never judging the mess that I was, because you guys have really understood everything that you guys saw everything I went through. My older kids have seen me broken, completely broken. And those are the only two that have seen me completely broken. And I've asked them, like, is there anything that I can do now? And my kids, they're like, Mom, we love you. You did everything to the best of your abilities. And we look at how we turned out. I have 2 great kids that have great morals, that are very loving, that are very humble, they're very respectful, and I tell them, thank you for picking up the good pieces of me. Thank you for just seeing the good things that I did, and not following any of the bad things that I may have decided at any given point in my life. Like, when I left their dad, that was a very I didn't even know, if that's something that I wanted to do, because all I knew is that I love this man. I was only 18 years old. I was so in love with this man. But then I started noticing that I didn't have a husband and 2 kids. I had 3 kids and no husband. So I said, you know what? No, I can't do this. I went back to school. I got my nursing stuff done, and I went back to work. I went to work, and I left him. And now he's still in the same spot. He hasn't done anything different with his life. So now I look at my life, and I speak to my grown kids, and my grown kids tell me, Mom, we're not mad at you that you took the decision that you took, because we can actually see what is it that you were seeing, because we can actually see that my dad still expects us to go get him from where he's at, and we're the kids. Like, we're the kids, and my 19-year-old has to go get him from somewhere. And I'm thinking, like, okay, but you guys are the kids. So they look at the difference between if their dad has evolved and how I have evolved. And I have apologized to them profusely for everything that I think that I did wrong as a mom. And my kids tell me, Mom, you were perfect. You loved us. That's all we can remember. You loved us, Mom. I would never want a day without a hug, without an I love you, without an I'm so proud of you, without you're so beautiful, you're so handsome. Like, Mom, you used to just, that's the mom we remember. We remember you in Scrubs, Mom. Because that's what they used to see. I would come home from work with Scrubs, make dinner, get them in the shower, help them do their homework in Scrubs, still in Scrubs, everything in Scrubs, and then I would just take off my Scrubs at the end of the day, but now my little ones, they see a different version of the apple now, because they're like, how come my brother and sister say that you were so tough, but you're not? And I'm like, no, babies, it's not that I'm not tough anymore. It's just that now I've learned how to talk and I've learned how to listen. Very, 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 it's very important for you to listen more than you speak. I said, if you already have the answer to what that person is telling you, you're not listening anymore. You stopped listening a long time ago. And that's not a good sign. So now I listen. And then I think. And then I talk. Before, in my 20s, there was no thinking. They went from 0 to 100 like this. I was writing restraining orders faster than I can count them. Like, they were telling me, like, girl, didn't we just give you a restraining order for Marina Del Rey? Why are we serving you another one for Southgate? And I was just like, oh, that's a different person. Like, girl, like, and I was just like, you're going to end up in jail. Girl, you're going to end up in jail one day. So, just stuff like that. Once my health went, I said, girl, you're too old. You can't fight no more. Like, what are you going to do? You're a mother of 4 now. My chances of getting cancer because of my autoimmune disorder went up by 85%. So it's like, I don't have time to play with it no more. It attacks you from the inside. It's basically your entire gut telling your body that something's wrong.
But how does it even start?
With pain. You get pain anywhere. And you just start feeling like why am I, or like tired. You start feeling very tired, or like you start noticing like, ow, like this didn't hurt yesterday, or so that's how I started to notice, like, ow, that wasn't there yesterday, or like, why is this knee swollen today? So until I went to the hospital because of the bleeding, that's when they told me, oh no, honey, there's even too much blood to see your GI tract. Your entire lining of your intestine is gone. I was this close of getting a bag put in my stomach. But the reason I didn't get that bag was because the part that they needed to connect to the bag was the part that was inflamed. If they would have cut all my large intestine and connected that part to my small intestine, then my small intestine would have gotten it, and I wouldn't have survived at all. So the bag wasn't an option for me. So it was basically take it as you go. Every 10 years, you're gonna see a different change in it, and it's true. Every 10 years, I see something different. I see, like now, I'm about to be 40 and everything hurts. Everything hurts. And sometimes I don't even have the energy to get out of bed to take my sons to school. But I'm just like, okay, Apple, come on. We got to get up. We got to do it. We got to do it. And I drive from Azusa to East Los every day. Every day, because I said after my separation with my kid's father, I don't want to change so much for my kid's routine, that I'd rather keep them with the same friends than to move them around, because I don't want to damage them. I don't want to damage those relationships that they have already created because of my wants. You know, my kids come first. So I'm gonna look for a job in LA. So that's exactly what I did. I was working in LA while my kids went to school in East Los. And, you know, unfortunately, sometimes I bleed and I can't control it. And when I do bleed, 9 out of 10 times I have to go to the hospital to get a blood transfusion because the bleeding doesn't stop. It does not stop. And I've already had 3 blood transfusions. I can't take iron by mouth. So if my anemia drops, I have to get the IV the iron put through my IV. So I sit there with the chemo patients for a whole hour for an entire week every day. So you just get to appreciate stuff, you know, because you're like, God, tomorrow I might feel worse. Tomorrow I might feel worse. And then tomorrow comes and you're like, okay, I think I'm feeling a little bit better. And as soon as you stand up from the bed, there you go, bound to your leg, to your knees, you know, like, oh my God, my knees are not working. Oh my God, like something's not right. And your body it's just your body telling you something's wrong. So your body starts reacting and creating more white blood cells than red blood cells. So it starts attacking you everywhere. It could attack your heart muscle, I could attack your leg muscles, anything, because it just thinks something's wrong, even if there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, but it doesn't let you eat. It scares you to the point where if you eat, am I gonna bleed if I eat? So I'd rather not eat, you know? So I was stuck with that. I'd rather not eat because I don't want to bleed. So there was weeks that I didn't even eat. There was weeks that I didn't even want to drink anything because I was so afraid I was going to bleed again. And maybe this time I wasn't going to be lucky to come home. So basically what it does, it basically just sends your body into a crazy mode to where your body itself, it's kind of like sickle cell anemia, something along those lines, to where your red blood cells don't regenerate. They all keep turning white. One turns white, it starts turning all of them white. That's how you start losing all your immunity to everything. I got pneumonia because of it during a flare-up, and I had pneumonia, and I had to stay admitted for 3 weeks because my right lung was damaged.
Is this similar to lupus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lupus represents itself on the outside of your body a lot, but it also does present itself on the inside. But what I have, it's exactly like lupus, just that you can't see it on the outside. The only things that you're able to see on the outside is, for example, I bruise very easily. My veins, sometimes they just bust out of nowhere. So I'll end up with a big bruise, and it's just because my vein busted out of nowhere. Or I'll have an excessive cramping of my toes, or sometimes I can't feel my toes at all. But that's because the nerves on my legs got damaged of not being able to walk for 3 months straight. So so your body starts shutting itself down system by system. System by system, first it starts with your gut. Once your gut starts telling you something's wrong in your gut, then your brain starts developing it. And after your brain develops it, it goes through everything. So now you're starting to feel like, is there something else going on? What's going on? So you start getting palpitations, you start getting major anxiety, and you don't know if this is something because it's an anxiety attack or it's something different. For example, 6 months ago, I thought I was having an anxiety attack. I had a stroke.
Oh my God.
I had a stroke at 2 a.m. I woke up in a sheer panic. I was asleep and I woke up. And so it was 2 in the morning. So I woke up and I tried to get up with this arm. This arm completely fell. So I said, okay, maybe I slept on it, right? So I turned around and I went back to sleep. So in the morning, I went to work and I was about to draw blood on a patient, and my left arm still wasn't working. So I said, okay, I didn't sleep on it. I didn't sleep on it. So maybe 5 minutes after, I still drew the patient with one arm. I still drew the patient. I just told my coworker, can you help me tourniquet the patient? I'm getting a cramp on my finger. I lied just so they wouldn't send me home. But when I finished the blood draw, I turned around and I completely was white and I fainted. That's when I was rushed to the hospital and I had gotten a full stroke. So until now, there's times where my left arm, I can't feel a lot of my skin here. On my face, I can't feel a lot here
Because of that.
because of that stroke. And here in the back of my head, it's like just static all the time. Like I just hear like static all the time. And it's like a blank space, like always here on the side of my head. So, it's that's what scares me the most, that I say, like, you know what? That's why I'm so driven to working on my clothing stuff, because I'm like, God, I don't know how much longer am I gonna be here. Like, I want to leave a mark. Like, I want people to know, like, that there's so much life to be lived. If you just get out of your head and just live. Like, don't think you're not gonna make it, regardless of what you have. Regardless of what you have, enjoy it, because it could go like this.
How do you even get to that point where, because it's difficult for someone to get past it and just say, I'm going to enjoy my life. How do you even start?
You cry a lot. You cry a lot. It's embarrassing to say, but I honestly stood in bed for almost a month. I couldn't get up. I could not get up, honey. I could not get up. I was depressed out of my mind, but it was because I never cried. I never cried. My mom died and my dad died. I, I just had to just shove it down my stomach, because I couldn't see my sister. I couldn't let my sister see me stressed out, because they were gonna panic. They were little. So I just learned to just, like, okay, shut it down for everything. So until now, I'm like, oh my God. After that month, I literally cried it out. I cried it out, and I prayed a lot. I prayed a lot, to where you're so broken, and the only thing that brings you comfort is to believe that there's something bigger than you. And you just hang on to that hope that there's somebody bigger than you. There's something that's just so heavy, just pray about it and grow and go through it, but make sure that you grow through it. You gotta grow through it, because if you don't grow through it, you're gonna keep going through the same thing and not learning how to really heal from it, because you're not gonna know how to really think about a situation clearly, and it's gonna fog your mind. I honestly write a lot, even if you don't give anybody up the paper you wrote in or whatever, but just write, and just to get it out of you, because you need to get it out, cry it out, but you have to let that emotion go. You have to cry it out and then get up, because if you don't cry it out in that moment, you're going to cry it out in pieces. And every time it's going to be piece by piece, and you're going to mess that week up. And then the next week, and then the next week, until you're going to look back and say, oh my God, I just threw away 10 years of my life and just being sad. Oh my God, I was just so sad for 10 years. Like, what did I do to myself? Where you just forget that you're you. You just remember that you are the mom, that you are the wife. You forget that you're you. We are still us, regardless of our kids, our husbands. We are still us, and we forget that so much, because we have to be available for everybody else. that we forget how to really, really sit with our feelings and deal with them. And it's scary. It's scary because there's nobody that's going to tell you, hey, do this. It's going to have to be you, because everybody in the world could tell you, do this differently. But if you don't want to, you're not going to do it, and you're not going to grow. You're going to keep going through the same situation, expecting different outcomes, but you're going to get the same outcome because you're not healing differently. You're not even healing at all. You're just suppressing it. So what my biggest advice to people that just feel like, that are just, that are either experiencing an illness or just depression. I was going through depression a lot. Just trust me, get out of your head, do what you love, do what makes you smile, get away for a bit, just by yourself, just sit with yourself. Yourself is your best company, and talk to yourself like you're talking to a friend. Because believe me, like talking to yourself as if you were to talk to a friend, it hits different, because you're the only one that could check you. Nobody else could check you better than you can check yourself. And I think that as we get older, we get better at that, at not being so hard on ourselves, but just to love ourselves and forgive ourselves for some things that we didn't know any better. We did what we thought was the best. And hey, we gotta forgive ourselves for things that we didn't know, but definitely be better when you get that chance again, because you will get that chance again, whether it's to remarry, whether it's to have another baby, whether it's, to do anything else, you will have another chance. God is gonna give you another chance. But now God is going to be like, okay, I gave it to you one time, but maybe I gave it to you too soon that you didn't know what to do with it. So here it is again. Let me see what you do with it now, 10 years later. So now your mentality should be different. And if it's not 10 years later, then, okay, we got to sit down and we got to really talk it out, because if we're still there at 10 years later, we have a bigger problem. And that's when all the dumb thoughts start coming through our heads too. We want to hurt ourselves, and we're better off not being here. Like, we just feels like we're just bringing everybody down. We're Debbie Downers. We don't want to be around people because, oh, look at her face, or, oh, she's always like this. Oh, you have no idea what's going on in my head. You have no idea how many conversations are going through my head right now of just life, of what I need to do tomorrow. And you don't even know if you're going to make it tomorrow. Like, I always think about my mom. Like, my mom must have been planning for Monday, and she never made it to Monday. So that's what sticks to me. Like, why am I going to rack my brain worrying about tomorrow or the next week, when God has a funny way of telling you, you know what? I might punch your card out sooner than expected, and you're missing out today for tomorrow. That is not guaranteed. It's not, it's not.
When it comes to your situation, having the talk with your kids, how was that?
Explaining it to my 5-year-old daughter was the toughest, because she knew her grandma. She knew her grandparents. And my son was 3 at the time. So my son really didn't know them. My daughter was broken. And not knowing how to comfort a 5-year-old, oh man, that is, when you're a mom and you just don't know how to fix it, there's nothing you can say to fix it. There's nothing you can do. There's not a hug that's strong enough to put that little heart back together. And you feel as a mom like, oh my God, I feel so useless. I can't help you through this because I'm going through so much pain myself, But I I had to tell my daughter, like, listen, baby, your grandma, she's now a beautiful angel in heaven now, and now she watches you from heaven. And she would say, but why can't she take me to school no more? You know, or like stuff like that. Like, but why can't she pick me up anymore? And those were the biggest hurdles I had to go through, like answering those questions, you know. And when she kept asking, like, why did he take it? Why did he do that to my grandma? Why would anybody want to stick my grandma with anything, you know? And my daughter's 5, and even now my daughter's 22, and she still remembers. And it breaks my heart because now at 22, she still tells me, Mom, I miss my grandma so much. And it's like, my mom made such an impact on a 5-year-old, And it's like, damn, my mom was a lot, you know, and for her to have suffered as a woman, what she had to endure with my father, I can only imagine her brain, her head at the time, you know, her mental state, you know, like she had 6 daughters to worry about. She didn't have no time to be crying over a man that just completely shattered her heart. It is very sad. It is very sad. And it does become a permanent lump in your throat. But let me tell you something. You are gonna know that you are healed from something when you're able to speak about something, like the way that I'm able to speak about my mom now. And I cry because I miss her. I do miss her, you know? I miss her a lot. But now my crying is not because, you know, it's not anymore like, why? It's not that I'm mad anymore. It's more like, I missed you, you know, like, I just wish I would have had more time with you. Like, you know, like, I just miss you, you know? And it's a different type of pain when you lose a parent in such a tragic way versus losing a parent that they already knew they were going to die and they didn't do anything about it. It's 2 different pains, you know? It's like, it's 2 different pains, and I can't even begin to like explain it. Like, it's just one day you're expecting to see this person, okay, Mom, I'll see you tomorrow. She's perfectly healthy. And then you just find out that your mom's dead at 11 p.m. And you're like, wait, what? And you're expecting the other one that was really sick to have gone. Like, that's what you're expecting. But when you get that phone call, that's the other one that's completely healthy. You're like, wait, what just happened? You feel like somebody just threw you up in the air. And when you land, you can't feel nothing. You can't. You physically can't. You physically don't want to feel anything. You physically shut yourself down because you rather not feel anything than to feel pain. You rather just let the days go by and not even think about it and just be stone-faced. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We gotta keep it pushing. Let's go. But guess what? When you're in that bed by yourself or you're driving in that car and you hear one song, it's over. There comes the waterworks again, and it's everything you try to suppress. It just comes down right there, and that's when you know, no, you haven't cried it out. If it still hurts you, you haven't cried it out. Let the fire burn you, but don't let it consume you. Let the fire burn you because you need to feel that, but really grow through it and let things go and forgive yourself for things that you couldn't do different, things that you couldn't help, things that weren't your fault, things that you just couldn't do anything to help another person. You couldn't. And you can't blame yourself because you're going to end up becoming your worst enemy. You're going to become your worst enemy, and nobody's gonna want to be around us. Nobody's gonna want to be around us because we're always gonna be so moody. We're always gonna be like, I don't want to do that. Forget you. I don't want to do this. And I don't want to do this. And it's not that you don't want to do that. It's just simply that you rather just sit there and think about all the shit that you just went through. And it's just, you're putting yourself again in that hole. And every time you think about that bad situation, you go deeper in that hole. Instead of climbing out of that hole slowly at your own pace. Don't let nobody force you into growth either, because everybody has their own time frame. It might take you months, might take you years, but it's gonna happen. But allow yourself to feel that fire, but don't let it consume you. Don't let it consume your family. Don't let it affect the goodness in your heart still. You feel me? Don't let anything ugly come between what you have going on in your life to where you just hate everything because you're so mad at things that you couldn't fix, but they weren't your things to fix to begin with. And when things are not yours to begin with, unfortunately, we just say, damn, I wish I would have fixed it. But sometimes we don't even know. And how are we going to fix something that we don't even know, you know? So you have to just grow through a lot of the things you go through. But don't just go through life going through a lot of bad things and doing the same thing and expecting different results.
When it comes down to explaining to your kids what can happen with you, how was that? Mm-hmm. And when did you do it?
This is what gets me. This is the part that gets me. Like I said, you know, when I first got sick, I just had my smaller son, my 3-year-old son, and I really didn't think I was gonna have any more kids. You know, I felt defeated. I felt like I wasn't gonna be here anymore. And then I had my other 2 kids, and now that they see me, especially my 12-year-old, he sees me and he tells me, he's like, Mom, you don't feel okay, huh, Mom? You don't feel okay, huh, Mom? I'm like, yeah, baby, yeah. He tells me, no, you don't. Why does your face look sad like that? Something hurts, huh, Mom? And I can't tell my son, no, nothing hurts, baby. So I have to just tell, Mommy just has a bad headache. But I can't tell my son, I feel like I can't breathe, and I feel like my chest is about to pop off, and I can't feel my left arm. My left arm is tingling. I feel dizzy while I'm driving. I don't want to tell my son that. I don't want to scare him. But I do tell him that I'm trying to teach him how to be somebody's husband, somebody's dad. And I do tell him that anything could happen to me. Unfortunately, I lost my mom to a stabbing, but he could lose me in a car accident. He could lose me due to my health. And they struggle with that because they don't like to hear it. And they cry. They cry when I talk about it. And they cry when they see me that I don't feel good, or when they hear me throwing up in the restroom. They cry, and I can't tell them that this is gonna go away, because it's not. And I've learned just to explain to them, you know, like, listen, babies, Mommy might not feel good every day, but when Mommy feels good, Mommy feels good. You don't have nothing to worry about. But I'm gonna try to hang on for as long as I can. I promise you that I fight this every day. I try to feed myself even when I'm scared that I'm gonna bleed. I eat because I have to eat. If I don't eat, I end up back in the hospital with a feeding tube in my nose, and I'm like, no, I have to fight because my kids, my mom died when I was in my 20s. That devastated me. I can only imagine if I leave my kids now at 12 and 10 and 22 and 19. I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine my kids burying me. I can't. Like, I don't want my kids to ever go through that right now. If they ever have to experience that, I pray to God that it's when they are made, when they have their own family, when they have their own wives to hold them up, when their mom can't hold them up. I just pray to God that they develop this personality where they're loved and somebody wants to be their spine, when they feel like, I miss my mom so much, and you're gonna need somebody to just hold you tight and say, I got you, like I got you. And I want my kids to have that, and I explain that to them. Be a good man, be an honest man, be a hardworking man, be a great dad, because chances are, baby, that when it's your turn to be a dad, chances are that I'm not gonna be here no more. And I want to make sure that you are a great father and a great husband to a woman. And I try to teach my sons, you don't disrespect women, you take care of women, you don't hurt women, you don't speak to women crazy, you treat women like you want your mom to be treated. You don't treat women another way. You treat a woman how you want a man to treat your daughter. Because guess what? If you don't, life is funny. Somebody's going to treat your daughter the way you treated your wife. Let's see how you like it. So that's what I tell my sons. I try to prepare them. So when I'm not here, at least I lay my head down at night, and I honestly, every night I pray and I say, God, please give me another day. Give me another chance to be a better mom than what I was today. Don't pull my card yet. I still have a lot to do. My kids are small. Like, I don't want them to hurt the way I did. They're too small. My sons, my daughter, they're still way too delicate. Their minds are too fragile, and they don't understand. Yeah, they understand that you're sick, but they don't really understand the extent of it, and I don't even think that that an adult understands it unless they actually research it. I had a lot of arguments with my partner before because he would tell me, nothing's wrong with you, you just don't want to do anything. Look at you, nothing's wrong with you. And I'm like, even pulling my hair like this hurts. Like, are you serious? And just so I wouldn't fight, I would force myself to go to participate in these events, even if the bottom of my feet were killing me. Even if my whole entire body was in pain, but I would just shut up because I don't want to fight. And I had to tell my partner, you need to Google this. You need to research this, because you are depressing me and making me feel worthless and useless, because you're not understanding how my condition works. My condition is killing me from the inside out. So you're not going to see it here. Here, what you see here, big old smile, just keep it pushing. Nothing's wrong. I'm able to walk. I'm able to talk just fine. But only I know when I sit down in that car And I'm driving home and I'm like, damn, my stomach hurts. Damn, my stomach burns. Oh, I can't even sit down comfortably today. Like, oh, I feel a lot of pressure. Like, and these are things that you're embarrassed to tell anybody, you know, especially your partner. Like, you know, especially when they want to be intimate with you and you're like, you don't know how to tell them. Like, that's embarrassing, you know? You're like, no, you know what? No, my back hurts, you know? And you just don't want to tell them the reason why, you know? Because chances are that, oh, I don't want to know about that. And it makes you feel even sadder that you're like, damn, like I discuss you that much, knowing damn, that's sad. And then that now you're back to dealing alone with it. And you'd rather not tell anybody what you feel. Because if you do tell them what you feel, chances are they're not gonna care. They're not gonna do nothing for you. They're just gonna keep on telling you, nothing's wrong with you. Look at you, you look fine. You could do your hair just fine. You have your nails done just fine. You could walk in heels just fine. What's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with you. And little do they know that even just to brush my hair hurts. You know, just to even, sometimes I wake up and my eye sockets hurt for no reason. Like I feel like I got socked in the face. And I'm like, why does my face hurt so bad? And it's just my autoimmune disorder that today decided to attack my face. So my face hurts, you know? So it's systemically like that. And it's just depending on who you're telling. But your kids are the hardest by far to tell them that there's something wrong with you. Because that fear that you see in that face, those little eyes looking right back at you with this sheer panic, like, what do you mean that you might not be here? Like, what do you mean, Mom? I can't stand it. I can't stand those eyes looking at me. And I say, baby, but I'm going to be here for a long time, baby. Baby, don't you worry, baby. I'm going to be here. Knowing damn well that I don't know how long. But I can't tell my kids that. I can't tell my kids, might not see you later. I might not see you tomorrow. You know, I can't tell them that. All I could tell them is I could just hug them and give them a kiss goodbye to go to school and pray to God that I'm okay. I'm okay the rest of the days to be a mom, you know? And that's the hardest part, just having those eyes looking back at you and you're having to explain to them why you possibly are not going to be here for a long time, you know? And they're like, but are you going to be here to meet my first baby? And you're just like, fuck. Yes, I am, baby. But you know damn well deep down, you don't know. You know, and as a mom, it just destroys you. It destroys you when you just don't have the answers to give them. Because you alone don't know how long you have. You know, I don't know how long I have. So I try to just be the best version of myself. Like whoever tells me, oh, you're a piece of this, a piece of that. Oh, you're talking about Apple. That's a 20-year-old Apple. You know, that's a 30-year-old Apple. But the 40-year-old Apple now, my mind has changed drastically. It's not about get people no more. You know, it's not about revenge. It's not before that's all my mind was, just like, this, that. Now you just learn to coast through life and just be like, you know what? God, this is bigger than me. Take it. Because if I take it, it's going to kill me. It is literally going to stress me out to the point where I am not going to be able to function.
Yeah.
And you are going to destroy everything around you. Everything. You're going to destroy everything. You can be your biggest single-handed sabotage your own relationships. And that's why I always tell this to a lot of people. You gotta love your partner more than you hate a situation. Always love your partner more than you hate the situation, because then you guys are both going to be stuck in a really bad situation, hating each other. And instead of you guys being loving to each other and handling that together, is different versus you being alone, because we're just being asses at this point, you know. But you have to just grow through it. You really have to grow through what you go through. Don't go through stuff just to go through it, just to say I did it. Really take the time and learn to see other people not through your own eyes, but just know that that person might not be having the best day today. Be gentle with everybody you meet. You don't know what they're battling. You don't know what they just found out yesterday or this morning. We don't know that. You know, all we know is what we see. And sometimes we judge people so hard just on what we see. And there's so much more up here that, because they're so misjudged, you see so many people become suicidal because they're so misunderstood. They're so misunderstood. I was suicidal. My first husband told me when I was suicidal, I locked myself in the bathroom and I told him, I said, I'm done. I can't do this no more. And I will never forget this. He slid a razor blade under the door. And he told me, make sure you make it count, bitch. And when he said that to me, it was a hard pill to swallow. A very hard one. Because somebody that you had put so high up, for them to just throw you against the wall at your worst moment and tell you make it count, it's like, damn, yo, like that. After I had your kids, after we were married for such a long time, after you know that my mom and dad both have passed, and that's why I'm so sad you slide me a razor blade and tell me make it count. Since that day, my mind changed a lot, because like I said, you don't know what people are really going through. And because you decide to say one bad thing out of your mouth, you could really end that person. You could really end that person. And I believe that if I would have been weaker, I would have killed myself. I would have killed myself. And so now, every time that I feel low, you see this bruise here? Mm-hmm. See how easily I bruise? Look, for nothing. This right here, I always draw a heart with a Sharpie. Every time I feel sad. And just to remind me that this is exactly where I was gonna cut. You know, like, I had the location and everything. Like, I'm done. Like, this is exactly where I'm gonna cut. But when I heard that, and he said, make sure you make it count, bitch, everything in me got mad. And I said, bitch, you gotta want this for yourself. You're gonna wanna live for yourself. You're not gonna put that man high, no more. That man, that's not a man. That's not a man. And mind you, before that, when I told him to spend his time with his mom that had cancer, you know what he told me? At least I have a mom. He just started talking to me like that because, I'll tell you, he says I was always moody. I was boring because I was always sick. So he felt like insulting me was the best way to get me. So he would insult me a lot. You know, after I would clean the house, he would literally throw the cereal literally all over my kitchen just to make me clean it up again. And I'd be like, why are you why don't you just die already? He'll tell me. So it just went from me being sick one day and not being able to do everything I was able to do for him to act this way with me.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And I said, damn, he must be seeing somebody, because how are you going to talk to the mother of your wife, the mother of your kids like this? Somebody that's your wife, somebody that you actually saw dying in front of you. Like, how are you going to talk to her like that? With no regards, nothing, no remorse in your voice, nothing. And I started just saying, you know what, Apple, you got to do it for yourself. Because if you don't want something better for yourself, you're going to be stuck in shit all your life.
Was he seeing someone else?
He was. He was seeing somebody else. And that's why it didn't work out. And like I said, after he left, he slept with somebody I knew. She, up to this day, I still live in her mind rent free. She stalks my social media accounts. She does the most. She tries to badmouth me to whoever listens. Up to this point. And I've asked him, is there any reason why this woman is coming at me again? No. And now our relationship is like we're best friends now. But now that we're apart. But once we come together again, we get in each other's nerves like this. We can no longer be that no more. We're just friends to where we could take our kids to dinner and then shoot some pictures. Okay, cool. That's it. You go to your house, I go to mine. That's it. Sometimes I don't even want him to call me on my phone. Sometimes I'll lie and say I'm busy and I'm not doing anything just because I don't want to be on the phone with him. For what? You know? Because every time I talk to him, I just get filled with this feeling that I don't like. And it takes me back to that place. And before I end up in that place, I do something to get me out of it. Something that's fun for me. So I start working on designs for my sweaters instead. I start working on stuff that really, gets my mind going. I start writing, I start reading. I read the Bible a lot. I pray a lot now. And like I'm telling you, you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be.
Tell us a little bit about your clothing line and how it started. What are your plans with it?
My Own Breed. My Own Breed is the title. The title says it itself. My Own Breed. I named it My Own Breed because of literally how I literally had to piece myself back together. And I feel that I created a type of breed that's just different. It's just so resilient. It's being a rare breed. It's just, you're your own breed. You made yourself. You are what you make yourself. You are what you make yourself. You can be like how that's why I fell in love with that name for years. My Own Breed. Because I literally thought of everything I had to go through. And how I didn't have nobody in my corner, and I literally had to get up by myself. And I said, you know what? My own breed, that's how it's gonna go. And I am gonna cater to my community because I want my Hispanics to feel that the love is there. I want all my I want South Central to know me. I want Long Beach to know me. I want Inglewood to know me. I want everywhere to know me. Somebody that's actually wanting to do something for them. I love to go to Skid Row. I love it. I hand out stuff. little care packages, sometimes hygiene packages, and all by myself, just because I feel that people are so thankful for it. And it's something so small that we take for granted. So I feel like that's me, that's my own breed. That's what I've created. I got all the bad, and I just twisted it, and now I'm trying to give it back in goodness, in understanding, in trying to be a friend, trying to be a better friend, because yeah, when I got diagnosed with this, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I look completely different. So a lot of friends didn't call me anymore because I didn't party no more. I couldn't party no more. How? I could barely wear heels, like how was I gonna party? So obviously those were my friends, you know? So you start learning who's your people, who's gonna be with you. And when the tough gets tough, who's your people? So my own breed is what I created, what I made out of myself. And I feel like I want to do this mostly for all my, especially my East Los people, my Lincoln Heights people. Like, I want you guys to know, like, you guys don't have a bad rap sheet. This is our culture. This is literally our culture. Our culture is beautiful, and we are our own breed. We make ourselves. You literally make yourself. If you want to be something completely out of the ordinary, that's what you're going to become. But if you want to strive for greatness, that's exactly what you're going to become. You're going to be great. If all your thoughts are positivity, if all of your thoughts are manifestations, that's what you're going to bring to your life. But if you're saying nothing's going to work, forget this, that, nothing is going to work. So when I say my own breed, I literally had to rebuild myself. Literally, I had to cry it out, scream it out, sleep it off. I literally had to sit there by myself and really go through that pain. I really let that pain hit me hard. But I had to, because now I'm able to say, I'm on the other side now. I'm on the other side, and it feels beautiful to be able to help people that are going through the similar situation or have lost a loved one, that is going through an illness that they don't even understand. It's beautiful now to see other aspects without judging, and it's just the beauty of you not being judgmental. So I just feel my own breed, that's what I am, my own breed, because nobody made me but me. My mistakes, all my mistakes, everything, that's what made me. And that's what made me want to fix myself and be something better than what I was. And every day I try to be better than the day before. My biggest competition is myself. I'll clap for everybody else until it's my turn, because that's just how it has to go. But if you're just a hater and you wish bad on everybody else because you're not there, you're never gonna get there, because that's all that's in your heart, just bad. But when you're able to say, that's dope, I'm proud of you, you know that you've grown as a person, and it feels beautiful. And that's why I say, man, I'm my own breed, because I was able to actually reach the other side, and I could still say, I still could hold my smile up. I still smile. I still have good days. I have great days. I have my kids. I might not have my parents anymore, might not have my husband. I might have lost it all. But as long as I have my kids, everything else I could get it back. So I figured, my own breed. I sure am my own breed.
Did you get to talk to your older kids about They know the situation
They
that's
know.
going on with you?
Yes, they know everything, especially my oldest one. They both know. But my son is the one that worries a lot more about me, and him is the one that I try to shelter a lot from it, because I could see that it really affects him. It really does affect him. So when I see him, oh, I'm fine, Charlie. Oh, I'm fine, baby. I'm fine, baby. Oh, well, I get back in my truck and I cry knowing that well I just lied. But I have to. I have to say it with the straightest face. Like, no, baby, I'm good. Baby, I'm good. Mom's good, baby. Mama's good. You need money? You need money, baby? Knowing damn well I'm going to fall into pieces when I get in that car. But you have to. You have to until you're able to actually do it. Until you're actually able to swallow that lump that you feel and you say, oh my God, I made it to the other side. Like, damn, that was a lot of shit I went through. Damn, I did that and I'm still standing? I'm one bad bitch. Damn, I went through a lot of shit. And still being able to smile and say that and still want to create more and be somebody, just expose yourself as much as you want now, but expose yourself with good things, be light to people now. Nobody likes a dark aura around them, and that's what I was. I was so dark. I was so numb. I was so stupid with my feelings, that I didn't think twice before I lost my mom or my dad. But once that loss came, I could tell you a complete different person was born. A complete different person was born. And since then, my own brain has stuck to my head like nobody's business. And I work on it. I work on it daily. I do different designs every day. This is what's gonna be the first one. This is gonna be the next month. This is gonna be the next month. But I wanna make it into something that's memorable, something that's unique, just like me a little, something that's unique and it speaks to my people, especially my people. Somebody that, to everybody that knows me, especially to people that know me, that know my story, my friends, the ones that never actually left me, they know that, damn, you went through a lot. You went through a lot, girl. And I have nothing but positive things now, like to tell people, like, I can't judge anybody anymore. I can't. My heart doesn't let me. It's like wow, like you're so surprised. You're like, wait, how did I just change like that? What you just do, your heart just changes. And it's so beautiful to be able to see other people and not judge them. It's so beautiful to understand their story instead of judging them. It's always so beautiful. And especially when it pulls to your own heartstrings, that you have those words and that you made it, that you actually made it through that. Now you have those tools to tell that person, look, baby, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, baby, a lot. That pain's gonna be physical. It's gonna be physical at one point. But you know what? Baby, you're gonna get them bootstraps and pull them up. You gotta pull them up, baby, because if you stay there, it will consume you. It's gonna consume you. We just gotta be better. We just gotta be a lot better. Less judgmental. A lot. But yeah, that's how my own break came about. Any special message? Yes. If you guys see that your friends are in their, we're all in this race, right? This life race. If you see your friends way ahead of you, clap for them. Clap for them loud and make sure that they hear you, that hey, you're cheering them on. Don't be a hater because you're still back there. Because guess what? Maybe it's not your time yet. Maybe because if God gives you your blessings right now, unlike your friend, you wouldn't know what to do with them. That's why he gave them to your friend first. Don't be bitter. Be better. Clap for your friends until it's your turn. Simple. Don't judge people until you've crossed that bridge that they crossed. Don't judge them. Don't judge them until you have walked in those people, in that person's shoes. Don't judge them, because chances are you couldn't even fit their shoes even if you tried. Chances are you're not gonna be able to even carry yourself the way that person that you judged so hard. You're not gonna be able to carry yourself like that. But there you were judging. But look at you now when it's your turn. What happened? So don't judge. Clap for your friends until it's your turn. And believe me, it will be everybody's turn. Everybody has a different life race. We're just all in it, you know? But we cheer our real friends. We cheer our friends on. Your real friends cheer real friends on. Whoever doesn't cheer you on, they ain't your real friends, baby. They're not. I'm sure that somehow I'm trying to leave a lot of things on my social media for a reason. I feel like I like to photograph myself a lot because I don't have a lot of pictures of my mom, and I want my kids to have a lot of pictures of me. You know, I want my kids to be able to read my words. I want my kids to be able to see that I had happy times, you know, that they'll have somewhere to go and they'll be able to find me. You know, that's why I wanna start this thing where I could just be just a little known, you know, just so my kids could see more of me, so they could have at least something to look at their mom at. Because I don't know how much I have. I don't know. I can go to sleep tonight and I'll not be here tomorrow, you know? And sometimes it sucks because it really be like that. Like sometimes I'm scared to fall asleep because as soon as I close my eyes, I feel my heart beating funny. And I really don't close my eyes, you know? I'm like, no, like I don't want to close my eyes. Like I'm gonna, something's gonna happen and I'll stay awake. Even if I'm dying of sleep, I'll stay awake because I'm so scared. And I'll be taking cat naps throughout the day, like 20 minutes. And I'm up, like, is everything okay? Oh, bitch, everything's fine. Go to sleep, you know, like go to sleep, like everything's fine. No, but you see, like this man, this man has seen me at my worst, and I could tell you, like, if I was that man dealing with me, oh my God, oh no, I would have been like, girl, bye. But this man, God was like, you know what, girl? I'm gonna send you this big old teddy bear, and it's something that you've never been with before. But let me see what you do with it. Because your looks and everything you went for didn't really work out for you, did it? So let me put this one on you. I got a 6'3", almost 400-pound man. And let me tell you, that is the biggest teddy bear, the biggest comforting hugs that I got, that I get. He holds my hand so tight, and like I tell them, like, if I would have never met you, I don't know what my life would have been like. I don't even know if I would have been here, because I've came so close of taking my own life so many times, just out of pain, out of just sheer pain. And love, I can honestly say that love is really out there. And when you're loved correctly, it shows. It shows a lot. It shows in the way that you look at people. It shows in just your face, you know, your smile. You smile brighter, you know, your eyes light up, you know. You start, you know, you're gaining all this healthy weight, you know, you just look loved. And to have that is like wow, like I didn't even think I deserved anything like that. And to have somebody in my life that doesn't judge me, that doesn't tell me, oh, you're this, you're that. Like, I'm like, God, you were so good to me when you sent this man. Yeah, we fight like bulls because I'm a Cancer, he's a Taurus. And I'm just like, I'm a crybaby and you're a full bull. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, no, but love does work, and love does save your life. And it doesn't matter where it comes. It doesn't have to come from a man. It doesn't have to come from kids. The first love, it has to be yourself. You have to love yourself and everything about you. And if you don't love yourself yet, don't stop until you do. So that's my big, that's one of my biggest things. Don't stop ever, guys. Don't ever stop until you guys could fully say, I love myself by myself. I'm okay with being by myself because I am very well aware what self could do. And you are a very, very powerful force. You don't need anybody but yourself. Having somebody in your life is a blessing, but it's not a necessity. It's not. You and your drive, that's all you need. And if you have that, you're golden. But if you don't stop until you reach it. Because you will. You will. Maybe not in your 20s, maybe not in your 30s. But I can tell you, approaching 40, you'll find it. You'll find it. And it's so much more special because we're older now. And we're able to say, damn, damn, I'm still alive after all. Damn. Like, I used to do the most dumbest things, and damn, all those beatings my mom gave me really worked. Like, thank you, Mom, for beating my ass through the park. Like, thank you, Mom, because if you wouldn't have beat me through the park, I would have probably been shot.
Girl.
You know, so I'm just like, you know, like now we just like, damn, now that we're 40, we're like, all right, where are you going? Who are you going with? No, make sure you have your phone. It's charged? Mom, relax. Did your mom do that? Bro, I didn't even have a phone at your age. What are you talking about? We had landlines and pay phones. You know, but that's just it, man. Like, love yourself. Love yourself. Be yourself. Be comfortable in your own skin. And don't hate on nobody's grind. I'm on TikTok. I am on Meet Me is it's a dating website, but I don't really use it for dating. So don't go on there with no funny shit, because I'm not gonna talk to you about that. I use Meet Me to push my brand because it's a live stream. It's a live stream and it's unlimited, and you can talk about whatever you want. My Instagram, Dope Ass Apple. Everything has Dope Ass Apple. My Snapchat is Dope Ass Apple. You guys can always reach me at Instagram or Snapchat. Most likely Instagram. Not the one with the black shirt though, because that's an old profile and I cannot get a hold of that profile no more because it was hacked. But yes, always dope as apple. You guys make sure you guys look for me. If you guys don't know me personally but would like to get to know me personally, ask for my number. I am a friendly person, I promise. I do talk back to my messages. I do try to respond to my DMs, the ones that need to be responded to. Let me rephrase that. I don't open all DMs because I'm scared. I've opened a few questionable ones. But yes, I'm reachable there. My Instagram and my Snapchat, but mostly my Instagram. All right, you guys. Well, there you guys have it. It's just a bit of my story. This is your girl Apple, and while I'm here in Making Changes, hey, strive to the best. Strive to be the best, baby. Stay up.